Well, hello. Thanks for coming back to check out another video. So, we are here today to sit down and talk about if I could only keep one makeup item from a said brand, what item would that be? Now, I just first want to say I have a lot of makeup, but I also have just a lot of various brands represented in my collection, which I think is a good thing. However, that would be too time consuming and this video would be too terribly long if we did every single brand. So how I narrowed it down was that I only focused in on brands where I have a variety of makeup. So for instance, NYX Cosmetics is not represented in here because I only own eyeshadow palettes from them. I just thought this would be a little bit more challenging if I solely focused in on the brands where I have a variety of products, like a blush and a lipstick and a highlighter. Like, what would I pick from that brand? I did pick some eyeshadow palettes, some face products, just, whatever rang as my, let's say, most favorite thing. It is kind of funny though, I don't have a full face of makeup after doing this. I think that would be a fun extra added layer to this challenge, we'll say, is that you can only keep one item, but you also have to have a full face of makeup. So let me know if you would be interested in seeing that. I am going to go, I think, in alphabetical order of the brands. I will leave the brands listed in the description box, just in case you want to take a sneak peek and see what brands are going to be featured. But yeah, that is all the rambling I will do for an introduction. I'm gonna grab some things and we will get right on into this. Okay, so kicking it off, we're gonna start with ABH. Now, I don't support ABH anymore, but I have them in my collection. I have a variety of items from them. I'm not just going to chuck away my items because I no longer support them, So I still included them and Juvia's place in this video. But the thing that I would keep from ABH out of all of my ABH products should come as no surprise to you. Easy to guess, I would keep my Jackie Aina palette. I think, in my humble opinion, this is the best palette that they have ever come out with. It is not powdery, it's not patchy, it's easy to work with. The colors are really pigmented. The formula, I think, is a little bit better. It's easier to blend and to work with. So I have raved on and on and on about this palette in its lifetime. You guys are probably sick of hearing me rave about it so much, but yeah, it's one of my most used palettes in my collection. Have 7 pans currently in here, and it's not going anywhere. This palette is, I'm gonna see it through to the end, even if that takes 6 years, So the next brand we will talk about is Benefit. Now, I do have a variety of Benefit products like bronzers and blushes, and do I have a highlighter? I don't think I have highlighters, but I have primers. So this one was a little bit easy. Now, I will say my product is in a palette, but you can buy this as a single. So I am not saying that I'm keeping the palette as a whole. I would just either pop out this or since it is a single, I don't feel like this is cheating to say it. So it does come from the Cheek Stars palette, but again, I'm only keeping this one blush from in here. So it is the shade Sugar Bomb. You guys can see I have really good pan on this. Obviously it's a fan favorite blush. It's just a really pretty effortlessly peachy pink blush to wear at all times of the year. Hopefully the ring light doesn't wash it out too terribly much. It is currently 7:30 in the morning, and so the sun is not really coming through these windows, so I had to jack up the ring light. But anyway, yeah, just one of the most effortless blushes that I have in my collection, and definitely my favorite product from Benefit. All right, so let's segue into ColourPop. Now, ColourPop was a little bit harder because I have eyeshadow palettes from them. I have blushes, I have, powder blushes, cream blushes, highlighters. There was just a lot more to pick from, but I had to go with this one because this is an item that I have finished off to completion, repurchased, and still love it dearly. I feel sometimes if you pan something to completion and you finish it off, you get kind of sick of it and you're like, ooh, I don't want that in my collection for at least another year or two, you know what I mean? Or it's no longer a favorite. But this, once I finished it off, I repurchased it pretty quickly on. So it is the Super Shock highlighter in the shade Smoke and Whistles. I will open this one up for you. This one has not gotten as much use because I am focusing in this year on some of my older ColourPop Super Shock highlighters, but this is still one of the most just beautiful, effortless highlighters that I have in my collection. It's kind of a cool toned pinky highlighter. I really like their Super Shock highlighters too compared to the like blushes. I feel like these last the best. These last the best, and then the eyeshadows, and then the blushes. Like the blushes dry out so quickly within a month, but I've never really had like a highlighter dry out. Like I think it took like a year for the original Smoke and Whistles to dry out. So yeah, I feel like this is a highlighter that I will continue to like always have in my collection. Like once I use this one up, I'll probably just repurchase it. So I really hope that they don't pull a ColourPop and like discontinue it on me, but this would be what I would say from them. So then the other one is CoverFX. So along the same vein, I have blushes and bronzers and highlighters from CoverFX, but this was easy because again, it's a product that I've used up in its entirety and repurchased. So I have the CoverFX Custom Enhancer Drops in the shade Moonlight. So Laura sent me the first bottle of this and I fell in love with it. And like I said, I used it up to completion. So then when they were like leaving Ulta and having their sale where a lot of their items were half off, I went ahead and picked up one of these for myself. So there it is underneath Smoke and Whistles. It's definitely like a more golden highlighter. So Smoke and Whistles I like to use like as a traditional cream highlighter, we'll say, but these liquid ones I really like to just mix them in with my foundation. So that's typically how I tend to use them up. I do sometimes use them as like a more traditional liquid highlighter, but with this one, since it is on the darker side, my favorite way is to just mix it in with the foundation. But yeah, so that's my product from ColourPop and CoverFX. Okay, so the next brand to talk about is Fenty. Now I have cream like cheek products from them, I have lip glosses, and I have highlighters. This one was a little bit harder. I wanted to pick a lip gloss, but then I thought, like I had all my products laying out and I was like, no, you really need to go with this one because this is a favorite. Like if I could repurchase this again, I would. It's much like the CoverFX and the ColourPop. However, I think this was a limited edition holiday 2021 release in one of their little like beauty kits that they put out at Sephora. Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't really put in the research before sitting down to film this video, obviously. But I have a highlighter from them. Now this is in the shade Fenty Glow. I'll bring it in. Hopefully you can tell, like we do have pan in there. I was never able to like confirm this online, but I really think this is a cream to powder highlighter, which makes it much more user friendly in my opinion, because you can use it like a cream product, obviously. But if you put your foundation and set your face down with powder and you want to go in with this, you still can. Like it applies nicely on top of powder products. It doesn't ever look like cakey or anything like that. So I know it looks a little bit dark like in the pan, and it's gonna look a little bit dark like on the swatch, but once you like sheer it out, it is just this really pretty kind of like brown pink shade, which I know you're like, why would you want that in a highlighter? But trust me, it just looks really good and really effortless. So yeah, that is the one Fenty product that I would save. So the next brand to talk about is Juvia's Place. Now again, I don't support them, but I have stuff of theirs in my collection, so we are going to talk about them. This is easy to guess. You guys know, hands down, what I would save from Juvia's Place would be my festival palette. This is, yeah, I can safely tell you this is my most favorite Juvia's Place palette. And I know the color story is a little bit chaotic, but I really enjoy that. It pushes me out of my comfort zone and kind of forces me to play around and put together colors that maybe I wouldn't necessarily have put together. And I've really found like some really interesting color combinations that are favorites now. And I do have to say, I really do appreciate that in this palette, it's not a matte black that you are getting, it is a shimmer black. Shimmer blacks are really pretty all over your lid with like a very bright and colorful crease going on, or they're really good in your outer V because it's easier to blend a shimmer into a shimmer instead of trying to blend that shimmer into a matte black if you're trying to achieve like that depth. So yeah, this is the palette I would save, or not the palette, but this is the one makeup item that I would save from Juvia's Place. So then we have Nabla is next, I believe, if we're going in alphabetical order. So from Nabla, I have just 3 products, but I felt like I could include them in here because it's a blush, bronzer, and a highlighter. So it is still like a variety of products. No, I have 4 because I have 2 highlighters. Either way, I have a variety of products from them. So it's all from their skin glazing line, and I have to say the highlighters there are the star of the show for me, especially this shade in particular. So this is Privilege, which is like a really pretty like peachy pink highlighter. I have Ozone, and Ozone is pretty in its own right too, but Ozone is one of those really intense icy white highlighters, and I'm just not like loving those right now. This one though, this peachy one, it is, you can build up the intensity and get that like, bam, I have highlighter on look. But you can also just go in with a little bit of like a lighter hand and achieve one of those more like, I'm just effortlessly glowy. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate this. This is also a highlighter shade that just mixes really well with other highlighters if you're into doing that and kind of like concocting your own color combination. So that was an easy choice on that one. Then we come to NYX, and again, NYX was super easy. I have quite a few items from NYX, but there's just one particular formula or particular product from them that stands out as my all-time favorite. It is the NYX Butter Glosses. Those I think are also my holy grail, like most favorite lip gloss formula. So it was really hard though to pick a color, and I think I'm a little bit influenced by the fact that we're in spring. I feel like if I did this video in the fall, I might have picked one of the like more brown leaning lip glosses, but the one that I went with that I could only, if I could only keep one product right now from NYX, would be the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Vanilla Cream Pie. You guys can see like it's just this really pretty pink color. I'm pretty sure my BFF gifted this to me one year for my birthday. And I love a good pink gloss. This is typically lighter than what I would have went for. So I was like a little hesitant at first, like, oh, am I gonna like that? But I've absolutely fallen in love with it. It is just such like the most pretty pink that you could wear right now for this time of year. So this would be the one item from NYX that I would save. Okay, 4 more brands to go. So up next is Oden's Eye, and this one was a little bit challenging. I'm pretty sure if you guys are playing along and guessing, you're probably gonna think that I'm gonna pick the Hella palette. No, I really do enjoy that palette, but this product just screams to me like I have to keep it. It is, well, once I show it to you, I think you'll understand. So I would keep my Solmana highlighter palette. I have absolutely fallen in love with colored highlighters through using this, and they have a really nice formula. I love to mix this like white blue shade up here with the pink one. I'll swatch both of these two out for you. I used to never be a colored highlighter person. Like I think the most like adventurous color I would do would be like a pink shade. But then getting this palette in and playing around with this white that shifts to like a blue purple, it's just been so fun, and mixing these two together creates one of my all-time favorite like highlighter looks. Like it just, I don't know, it's just so pretty. It looks like pink, purple, blue, like you just get all of the colors coming through. So yeah, this would be the one Oden's Eye product that I would have to save out of all of my Oden's Eye products. So the next one that we will talk about is Rare Beauty. Now I have some liquid highlighters. I have some, oh, what else do I have? A foundation. I have their cream blushes, like a good variety. I really do enjoy them as a brand. I think they're one of my favorite, like, you know, higher end brands. But again, much like with the ColourPop and the CoverFX, it really came down to, I've used this product up in its entirety and went out and bought it right away. Did not like allow it to really leave my collection. You know what I mean? So I'm talking about the most uneventful thing that you could probably want to keep from a brand, but it is a concealer. This is their Liquid Touch Brightening Concealer, if I'm not mistaken is the full name of it. I get mine in the shade 140C. Now I will say, I feel like because they have a corresponding foundation range. I feel like the concealer range is a lot better and has a lot more options for undertones than the foundations. That's really neither here or there for this video. This is one of those more lighter consistency concealers, but it still gives you like a really good amount of coverage. I never find this to be cakey. I never find it to like kind of break apart and like wear away in certain areas. Like it's just so pretty. It looks great if you don't set it. It looks great if you do set it. I think this is my top rated concealer, something that I will always obviously have in my collection, hence why I picked it for this video. Okay, so then next let's talk about Sephora. Now, I really love the Sephora in-house brand. I think they're a better quality than the Ulta in-house brand, but that's just my opinion. And to be fair, I have not tried as many things from the Ulta in-house brand. But either way, with Sephora, it was really tough. It was really hard to pick what one item would I keep from them. I went with the one I went with because it is the perfect spot on shade to what I was wanting. I wanted an olivey green, like forest kind of eyeliner, and I just felt like other brands, what they would put out as like that color never really rang true to what I particularly wanted. And then I found the Sephora one. So this is one of their eyeliners in the shade T-Rex. I will swatch this out for you guys. I think you're gonna agree with me. It's just this perfect, like dark, yummy, intense forest olivey kind of green. And I just really have fallen in love with the formula of these. They're very comfortable, very easy to wear. I feel like I would pick up more shades from them as I need to. I know they're a little pricey at $11 a pop, but I do think it's worth it. And eyeliners is like one thing I'm willing to splurge on because it takes me so long to use one up. You know what I mean? So I feel like you're really getting like a good price per use on it. Okay, so the last brand is Tarte. Now with Tarte, I have foundations and I have blushes and I have lipsticks. And I was really surprised that I picked a lipstick. But the reason I picked this is because if you will recall in my Declutter My Ulta wishlist video with me, I really had my heart set on picking up an ABH lipstick in the shade Butterscotch, if I'm not mistaken. So I shopped my stash, did a really good job, and I think I found a spot on dupe, and I have fallen in love with wearing this. I love it on its own. I love to do like a darker lip on the outside and then do this on the center and make more of like an ombre lip, we'll say. So this would be the one product from Tarte that I would save from leaving my collection. This is one of their Color Splash lipsticks, I think is what they're called. It is in the shade Rum Punch, but there is a swatch of it next to the eyeliner. Tell me that is not a really good spot on dupe to that ABH Butterscotch shade. This one might be a hair darker, but for me, I feel like that works better because the ABH one, I did run the risk of it being like a little too light and giving me concealer lips. So if you're like me and you're no longer supporting that brand, but you were pining after that particular shade of lipstick, I would go check out the Tarte ones. So yeah, it's a really comfortable formula. It wears really nicely, and it's, I think they're called matte lipsticks, but they're not like tuggy. They're very much creamy, and I don't feel like they accentuate the lines in my lips, you know? So that wraps it up though. That is all of the makeup items that I would keep from said brands if you told me I could only keep one item. What a long title. We're gonna have to work on that before we post this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I would love to know, like, down in the comments below if you agree or disagree, if you have a item that you would keep over, you know, something else, or if you just want to play along and answer them, that would be great. So yeah, I always enjoy chatting with you guys in the comments. I thank you so much for being here. I hope you're having a good day, a good night, or a good whatever, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.